Hey up viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back to the Shrek Challenge, or the Get Shrek Challenge here in Syria Being Hunted, episode 509 now. So, we're here on the centre island, we've actually cleared it out, so we're going to be hopping over, I think, to another island, and we're just going to head straight to the east. No. Where are you? No. Stop. Freaking dogs. Stop it. Oh my god, fuck, shut up. Good lord. I was about to say, fucking what is going on with these fucking dogs? Why are they running in this direction? Stop it. Okay. Wow, has the friggin' speed of the dogs been buffed or something recently? Feels like, oh my god, now I have to deal with you as well. Good lord. Ugh. Well, this is a great start to the friggin' episode, isn't it? Ow. Just gonna do that. Oh fuck, there's three of them over here. Oh my god, there's one right there. Jesus. Oh my god, fantastic start. Great start to the video. God, I need to find a jetty. Oh god, do not kill me. Please, do not kill me now. Okay, there's a jetty over there. I've sort of put a hedge and a fence between myself and them. Good god. That's how you start an episode, ladies and gentlemen. Flippin' heck. That got hectic, didn't it? Okay, it's one of those jetties that's kind of spawned out in the water, but luckily we can go around and get onto it from there. Christ. What an actual freaking palaver. Right, I was also thinking I need to find myself a inventory space in which I can basically start dumping some of my pickled onions and things. So I'm going to do it in here, in this building. Alright, let me just get some stuff. That's good. Stop. Please leave me alone. I've already had a bit of a bad start to the video. Well, not a bad start, it didn't go too badly. Ow! Stop it! I'm just going to go over here and hope for the best. Good lord. First it was those dogs. Problem is they were running in the exact direction I was trying to run. Yeah, you can't get me for... Ow! Maybe you can, actually. Alright, hold on. We're going east, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second all. Gordon Bennett. Wasn't that just an absolute palaver, ladies and gentlemen? Ooh, there is a device piece right there that we can pick up. Isn't it always good when you spawn in and the device piece is right there? Or at least the first one for you to get. Has this jetty also generated out in the middle of the water? It has. Well, it's not unheard of, is it? Alright, where's my axe? You guys, get out of my swamp! Hey! Get Shrek... Oh god, hold on, please, be reasonable. Oh, are you kidding me? I hit him first and he still got his shot off. I don't believe it. Well, that's the Get Shrek Challenge bloody failed. Well, I suppose, you know, it was a risky one, to be honest, given the fact that I have to charge in and basically smack robots with my axe. Okay, well, it's a challenge we can do for a future episode, maybe. Well, we're not going to friggin' just leave this episode at that. I'm going to reload last save, and what we'll do is we'll get back in, and then we'll just have a podcast-style episode, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, should we try that again? Well, not try it again as in continue the challenge, but let's just fuck around for a bit and just have a podcast-style episode. So I hope you guys out there are all doing well, and that you enjoyed the Get Shrek Challenge, at least for as long as it flippin' lasted. Oh boy. Why do I set myself these silly challenges which are clearly going to get me killed? That's the thing, you know, there's no way realistically that you can probably do that until eventually you just get shot to pieces. Because of course you have to charge in like an absolute crazy maniac in order to actually get those device pieces. It's like the Chuckle Vision challenge last time, having to actually get me to mess around in front of the squires and actually deliberately aggro them. That is just a recipe for disaster, essentially. So yeah, that didn't quite work now, did it, ladies and gentlemen? So, sadly, yes, our Shrek challenge is over, and it's barely even begun, before it's barely even begun, rather. But what can you do, eh? So, not much else to say about that. Is that 2 pheasants? Oh, yeah, it is. You rarely see sort of 2 of them together like that. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? You see 2 pheasants together? Does that bring good luck? Is that bad luck? Is it an omen of ill fate? It's probably an omen of ill fate, right? Wow, you're oblivious. Not anymore, though, because you're a bit dead now. Yeah, there we are. You doing alright there? Not really, no. I'll pick it up anyway, even though I'm never going to return it, because obviously I'll be on a new map next time. But you know, I was actually thinking recently about something. Here comes the random topic of conversation, ladies and gentlemen, which I was going to talk about this episode before the Shrek challenge got completely annihilated. I was actually looking at some of my reading material on my shelf that I have next to my computer, where I'm sat playing this game right now. And the thing is, I've got a growing collection of manga on my shelf. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Phil, if you're watching this, I am taking the next. Well, I say I am taking the next step. I've actually taken the. I actually took that step a long, long time ago. But yes, it's not just anime that I'm trying to get into. I've also got mangas. Okay, which is actually probably not particularly concerning. It's just manga. It's just reading material. If I'd sat here and I'd said, "Oh, I've moved on to the next stage of otaku-hood. I've started buying figurines or something," then yes, that would be where people would go, "Oh, Red. Oh, Red, 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 Red. We are very concerned for your mental well-being. What's wrong with you? You're becoming a full weeaboo degenerate. We have to stop this. We have to stage an intervention and all that." But no, it's just manga. I was just looking at my shelf where I've got all my mangas just sort of lined up at the moment. I say all of them, there's not a huge number of them, but I've got a steady growing number. What I have been reading a bit of recently, because I've discovered that there are manga adaptations of the Danganronpa games, so I've actually been reading a few of those. I'm currently on volume 4 of the manga adaptation of Trigger Happy Havoc, which I believe is the final volume in that particular adaptation. And then after that, I'm going to be going on to the manga adaptation of Danganronpa 2. And having said that, there's actually 2 manga adaptations of Danganronpa 2. There's sort of the one that I need to get onto, which is basically, essentially the base storyline, as told by Hajime Hinata. But there's a variant of it, which I have read. It's 3 volumes, I've got all 3 of them, and I've read all 3 of them. Which is actually the events of Danganronpa 2, but from the point of view of Nagito. The name it's titled Danganronpa 2. Hang on, I'm looking at it right now on my shelf. Ultimate Look and Hope and Despair. That's what it's called. Ultimate Look and Hope and Despair. Like I say, it essentially is Danganronpa 2. It's just from a different viewpoint. But it's an interesting bit of reading material. It's one of those things, though. If you're going to get into Danganronpa, start with the games, not with the mangas. Because the mangas, I think, came after, didn't they? Came after the games, because I don't think the games were based on anything. They were an original concept. So yes, we've got that to read. Well, the original Danganronpa 2 manga, that is. After I finished the adaptation of Trigger Happy Havoc. I mean, some people would say, why are you reading it? You know the storyline, you already know. Well, I don't know. I kind of just like the mangas. I think they've got some great artwork in them and things like that. And I can appreciate just the visual style. But there is also a manga adaptation of Ultra Despair Girls, which I'm going to have to get my hands on at some point. So it's going to be interesting with certain aspects of that to see how they actually translate that across to a manga. Cough. Freaking Chapter 3, weird-ass Kotoko torturing Kamaru scene. If you've seen my Ultra Despair Girls playthrough, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm kind of concerned about how that would be depicted in a manga. That was the one scene, I think, of Ultra Despair Girls that everyone, including myself, was really weirded out by and felt was just unnecessary. But knowing, the thing is, like, manga adaptations of media in Japan, they tend to be fairly faithful, at least in my experience, to original source material and all that, so I imagine that, yes, they probably will depict that in the Ultra Despair Girls manga. But I'm not here to talk about Danganronpa, because I've talked about that loads of times before here on the channel. But other mangas I've actually got, just looking at my shelf at the moment, which I could really do with picking up more volumes of. I've actually got the first 3 volumes, I should say, of One Piece, old classic and all that. Because the thing is, didn't One Piece actually start out as a manga originally, and then the anime was an adaptation of that? I believe it was, from what I remember. So I need to pick up more volumes of that at some point. I can't remember where I was up to. I think volumes 1 to 3 of One Piece, the original manga, they sort of get up to the first encounter with Buggy. What's he called? The clown pirate. Him. Yes, I'm trying to go by my memory of where I'm up to in the One Piece anime adaptation as well. I think it must be up to like episode 150 or something of One Piece, something like that. Can't remember. But you know, One Piece is a great franchise. It's a classic. It's full of lovable characters, like Monkey D. Luffy, who is quite zany. Yes. The thing is, you know, there's plenty more colourful characters who we're going to encounter yet in One Piece and who I've not yet got to and all that. Isn't that right, Sea Beast? Oh yes, Andrew. Oh yes, I like One Piece. That's right. Yes, yes. I do think it's very funny and very imaginative. Well, thank you very much for giving your input there, Sea Beast. That's very, very nice of you. Oh, nothing about it there, Andrew. I'm just going to go down back to seabed and watch some hentai. Oh, what? Sorry, what? Silence. So yeah, apart from the One Piece manga, what else have I got here on my shelf? I've got actually the first 4 volumes as well of a series called Clockwork Planet, which I think I might have actually started reading that before I moved down south. And that was, obviously, I've been, you know, living down south now for, what, 4 or 5 years? When I, you know, used to live back up in the northwest of England. I think I started reading it then, Clockwork Planet. But, yeah, I've got the first 4 volumes of it, and I haven't read anything else of it since then. That's a series I should probably try and get back to. I'm pretty sure there are more than 4 volumes. I'm pretty sure there is a volume 5 and possibly a 6, but I'd have to check. Because nowadays I tend to buy a lot of my manga off Amazon and all that. Because the thing is, I don't really go out into town all that often. I know I could, and you know, there'd be Waterstones and bookshops that I could go to which probably sell manga. I can, you know, go there and see what they got. But no, it's more convenient just to buy them online. Because the problem is, you know, you go to a bookstore, you never know if they're going to have a copy of something that you'd actually be interested in reading. Look, I'm getting gas from my tea coming up my throat. So Clockwork Planet, I need to get back to that. I've got a couple of other things as well on my shelf. I actually do have a Ruby manga adaptation, Red Like Roses, number 1, which, again, that might be one that I actually bought back when I was living up north, so several years ago. And from what I remember, it's not the base Ruby storyline, it's essentially just kind of like a series of skits. Life with the Ruby characters and all that, but I'm sure there is actually a proper official proper sort of Ruby manga that's been created, which basically follows the story of the actual series itself, in all likelihood. Another one I've got volume 1 of a manga called Children of the Whales, again, one that I bought way back up north. Read the first volume of it and haven't read any more of it since, and really probably ought to actually buy and read some more of it. Sorry, these moments where I'm pausing in game is when I'm sort of turning in my seat and I'm looking at my shelf, hence why I'm suddenly pausing and all that. I know it's probably annoying for you people watching, but hey, at the end of the day, it's a podcast style episode, who cares? Well, you lot probably. But yeah, so Children of the Whales was an interesting premise. I think it's a premise where it's kind of a post-apocalyptic scenario. I can't remember it too well because it's been so long. But it's like a Earth that's covered in a mire, or I can't remember. You know what, I'm not going to rack my brains trying to figure out what the story was. And the other final volume of manga that I've got, volume 1, is a series called The Detective is Already Dead, which is about a guy who meets, well, a kid who meets, I say a kid, a teenage boy, basically, because, you know, it's manga. You know, a lot of the protagonists are always teenagers, who meets a girl who is a detective, but then she disappears, and then one day he meets another girl who asks him to help out with a job, a detective job, something like that. So basically, volume 1 of that, as you can imagine, is just setting up the basic characters, the basic premise of it. And so, you know what, I'm kind of curious to see where that one goes. That is not actually Detective is Already Dead volume 1. That's not a manga I actually bought back up north. That's one I bought a few months ago. And started reading. I should probably read more of it, yeah. But yes, my manga collection is steadily growing on my shelf. It's nowhere near as big yet as my sort of assortment of bloody anime DVDs that I've got, which basically takes up 2 shelves in my lounge where my TV is, and no doubt I'm going to be buying more of it. But yes, so Detective is Already Dead. I need to get onto volume 2 of that, see if it's any good. Another series actually that I did watch the anime adaptation of quite a few years ago, but which again I believe was an adaptation of either a light novel or a manga. series was the Asterisk War, the Gakusen Toshi Asterisk, which is an interesting series because from what I've seen of it, people's opinions that is, it's maybe not the most sort of well known or most sort of critically appraised anime or franchise rather I should say out there. Yet I remember when I watched the anime adaptation of it, I thought, you know what, it might not be anything special, but it is enjoyable for what it is. And I did kind of enjoy it. I do remember being really, being decently into it. So I think, maybe I should try picking up manga of that one as well, and reading those, because I'm sure there are adaptations. I'm sure I've seen them before. On thingy, in bookstores like Waterstones and places like that. That's what I'm trying to say. For anyone who doesn't know, fun fact actually about Gakusen Toshi Asterisk. If you remember my, which one was it? My fourth Very Red Gmod Story Christmas special. The one, Very Red Pandemic. That was the one where the story is that General Red and Recon go to a supermarket to buy toilet rolls, but then the supermarket gets attacked by terrorists who steal all the toilet rolls, so General Red and Recon go after them to steal the toilet rolls for themselves. And then so yeah, that's right, that's the video. So yeah, I am going somewhere with this, ladies and gentlemen. So there was actually a reference in that one to Gakusen Toshi Asterisk. Basically, one of the sort of jokes in that particular video was the weaponized anime fan service that General Red tries to use to distract the terrorists. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and one of the clips used in that weaponized anime fan service is actually from the anime adaptation of Gakusen Toshi Asterisk, of the character, what's she called? Ulysse Riesfeld, who basically getting dressed, and she's halfway through when the protagonist, what's he called? Ayato Amagiri, accidentally lands in through a window, not realising she's half undressed. Yes, and I'm pretty sure that scene is right at the beginning of the manga adaptation as well. At least from what I've seen of just screen caps of the pages and things like that. So yeah, I should probably get oh, dead pheasant. It's funny how you come across those sometimes, isn't it? Get that, there we go. So yes, Gakusen Toshi Asterisk, I need to take a look and see about the manga adaptations of that as soon as I can. From what I remember, the storyline of that one is that it's sort of set in a future where there are people with powers and they sort of engage in combat arenas, something like that. It's very anime. It's one of those shows that, if you had to pick a franchise that is so... how should I put this? It's the most anime-est anime ever, to put it that way. Crazy sort of high school age kids with crazy powers, crazy weapons, battling it out. And it's very shiny, very colourful. And of course it has tons of fan service in it, as any freaking anime pretty much does. But yes, that's what I'm trying to say, essentially. Well, I say not tons, it doesn't have tons. I've watched more fan servicey animes out there, but it has a bit. And yeah, that's in essence. I really can't remember, because I last watched Gakusen Toshi Asterisk freaking years ago, so I don't remember too much of it, so I'd have to get back to it. I think with Asterisk, from what I've heard, they did sort of an anime adaptation of... Well, they did like a season 1, and originally there was going to be a season 2 of it, but I believe the season 2 was cancelled, so sadly, we've never had more on that franchise. But, maybe the manga actually goes further than the actual anime adaptation ever did. That's something I'd have to check out, probably. Okay, right. I think that's probably enough for an episode. We're going for probably just over 15 minutes or so there. So yeah, we'll wrap up here. So the Get Shrek challenge sadly failed in the first few minutes of this episode. It went horribly wrong. Everything just went south from the beginning. But hey, at least we got... Oh, gap. Jesus Christ, I just knocked my elbow into my desk like an absolute idiot. What was wrong with me? What was I saying? That's thrown me for a loop now, that has. Yeah, so instead I had a podcast episode about manga, because why the hell not? Facebook and links down below, along with the link to my propagandist channel for anyone interested, and if you enjoyed, a like is always appreciated and all that jazz. Other than that, I'm signing off now. Goodbye all. Here we go then. What have we got? Here we are. This must be the greenhouse beer. Ah, isn't it kind of pretty? Okay. What we got here? Anything? Flowers? It's something about the aesthetic of it, like the ramshackle greenhouse on top of a building. It's kind of awesome, isn't it? This thing?
Quite peaceful up here.
Indeed it is. Right, let me just get this out again.